Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading. This is your bonus 2021 reading. This is going to be from now until the end of the year. So basically from whenever you watch it for the rest of 2021. So we're going to jump right in here, Libra. I'm using the 5-cent tarot if you're wondering what deck this is. But we're going to take a look at your current general energies in this first row. We're going to look at anything unexpected that's coming in for you in your second row, and then we're going to look at any advice from your guides in your last row as well. But let's see what is going on for you at this time here, Libra. This is a really nice reading. You have the Ace of Cups, the Chariot. I'm almost done with these readings, and they have been, fairly positive, I would say. I think people... one thing I will say is that I think people confuse like a positive reading with, thinking life is going to be easy. And, I think that plenty of challenges can come up and, life can definitely improve at the same time. I'm like, living without challenge is not necessarily a good thing. We would all be, weak and have no muscles if things were easy, right? So, again, I've just noticed that sometimes I get people saying things where I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, just because a reading says good things are coming doesn't mean that they're going to come easily. We still have to work for them. And I kind of get that here for you and for everybody else. So, just keep that in mind. But a really good reading. You start off with exposed and revealed. So clearly something is coming to light here. Again, I actually feel this is a good thing that's coming to light, and what I would say is it's some sort of adventure that you're going to be going on. Knight of Wands, Chariot here, even the Lovers with the Ace of Pentacles came out together. The Lovers is like being at a crossroads, having a new decision or new choice to make, and the Ace of Pentacles can just be an opportunity, something that is a good opportunity as well. So on a very simple level, I feel that there could be an opportunity here that's coming in for you. I feel like you're a little hesitant because, I love this card here, this pig spirit card in this deck, but it's like this pig has wings, and there's a saying, when pigs fly, right? It kind of means like, that's never going to happen. And I do feel for some of you that there could be an opportunity that seems a little bit impossible. You're like the second sign that has had a message like this, and it seems a little bit impossible, but you have this flexibility card. It's literally saying if you are flexible, if you put the work in, and if you find ways to do whatever this opportunity is, you will be successful. For some of you, this could involve saving money. You have the Four of Pentacles here. Sometimes the Four of Pentacles could say, well, yeah, maybe there's an opportunity coming in for you to move or to travel or to do something like get a job somewhere. Maybe it's going to require some money, but if you save your money, then you'll be able to do it. That's just one of the million things that's popping into my head right now. But I feel like this opportunity is being revealed to you with this card here. You have the World, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Swords. Number one, obviously, this is not Kim Kardashian tarot, as I always say. Exposed and revealed could say that somebody could be being exposed here for being inconsistent. And you have the King of Swords here. What I would say to you, Libra, is if you've dealt with someone who's inconsistent, a liar, someone who cheated on you, any of those things, this could say that they are, that is being revealed to you, or it's being, exposed to you in some way. I don't really see how that matters because I don't think that it does. But like I said, you could be seeing, I do feel like some of you could be seeing someone getting their karma. You could be seeing someone, you could just be seeing the truth come out here. It's clearly going to end to a separation, end in a separation or a breakup, which is kind of like, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for right now? I feel like it's redundant, this Five of Swords. It's like one of those things where I feel like for most of you, you're already broken up with this person. So it's like there's no need for this, it's just a redundant Five of Swords. But I would say maybe you're just at that point where you're definitely, 100% cutting someone off here. But you have the World, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Swords here. This is like you gaining authority. And that's really what I feel like this row is saying. is that you are gaining a certain level of authority in your life. Number one, if you're like in school, college, if you're getting a training, if you're getting some sort of certification, or if you're hoping to do those things between now and the end of the year, or even into next year, I feel, then this is very good, because, getting a card like this, which could be your card. You could be the King of Swords, but it's also a card of gaining authority or becoming an authority. And having the World is amazing in a reading like this, because the World basically says that, with a card of authority like this, that you will be standing out in a big way. So I do feel there's like a lot of attention coming in for you, or you're just going to be standing out in a big way with that World card. Could be getting a lot of attention as well. So I do really like to see that for you there, Libra. I definitely feel there's like some sort of opportunity coming in for you, which again, we're going to clarify this at the end, and we're going to get some more details, but I do feel like there's some sort of new opportunity coming up for you here. Next, you have the Pig Spirit. It says, use your mind wisely. This is coming up in the area of the unexpected. So I do feel like there could be opportunities. Kind of like what's popping into my head here for you, Libra, is it's almost like I see you more, it's like you're sensing an opportunity. And so, I feel like it's more feelings based. There's not much like logic behind it, is what's popping into my head. So it's like, sometimes we can see something that feels like a good idea, but it's like, then we're like, I feel like once we start to try to like logic it, then, we're kind of like, this isn't really that good of an idea. The problem here is I feel like it is a good idea, but it's definitely a choice. Two of Pentacles here. And not only that, the Two of Pentacles is a balancing act. Two of Pentacles, he's like juggling multiple things. Remember what I said at the beginning of the reading, this is an amazing reading, but it's not necessarily, that doesn't mean there aren't any challenges, going on here. You have the Ace of Cups, the Chariot, and the Two of Pentacles here. The Chariot literally says the word determination at the top of the card. And I just feel like if you are determined to make something a reality, the unexpected thing is that you will make it a reality, plain and simple. For a lot of you, I see this as some sort of opportunity in work or business, but it's going to like require you to probably put in extra hours with the Two of Pentacles. For others, it could be, I see some of you doing like a side business or side job, something like that. So if you work in a side business type of industry here, or if you're creating a side business, I feel that, it's like saying, I feel like the opportunity for you to be very successful exists, but I feel like you're going to have to put in the work. So I would encourage you to do that here. Again, this feels like a feeling to me is the best way I could describe it. So it's like one of those things, like where I feel like you could be watching TV and maybe you hear about like a potential business or a potential opportunity. And it's like, I feel like it's just potential, especially with the Ace of Pentacles here. So you're going to have to take advantage of whatever this opportunity is to make it happen, is kind of like what I'm getting here. And I would like get moving. For others, I feel this could just be a move. So some of you could be thinking about moving or traveling here. And I do feel like there would be a lot of success in a move with the Chariot card as well. I feel like some of you here in love, I am getting something else here as well, Libra. I feel like for some of you, it's like you could be fearing rejection in love here. I feel a very indecisive energy here is what I would say to you as far as love is concerned. I feel like a very kind of back and forth energy. Mostly on the Chariot. So I feel like a decision needs to be made. It's kind of interesting that, I think it's kind of funny that if we take it this way, we go to the Five of Swords, which is like a breakup, right? If we take it this way, we have the Four of Pentacles. I see this as maybe you holding on to what you have, right? So it's like sometimes I think maybe we don't want to get into a relationship because it's like we don't want to allow someone into our space. We don't want to give up some of our freedoms or whatever. So sometimes I think that can prevent us from having love. But then you have this right here, this middle row. It's kind of like saying, I almost feel like this is a third place, like a third option. You might be seeing love as, this or that, but I actually feel like there's another way right here, where I just want to make sure I didn't just lower the volume by accident by hitting that, but anyway, I didn't. But anyway, what I would say here is it's almost like there's a third option. where you could have a really successful commitment with the lovers in the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is like a lot of growth and abundance. It is a card of fertility as well. It could represent children, but it could just represent a relationship where you create a lot. I get a very creative energy here, especially Ace of Cups, is a card of creativity, and I do get like a very creative connection. So I feel like some of you, what's unexpected is you could be getting an opportunity. For some of you, I feel like you're already in a relationship. I feel like you need to look at it this way, not as the Five of Swords leading to a breakup or dealing with disagreements and fighting. I feel like you need to not look at it this way here, Four of Pentacles, holding on to like whatever little security you have. And I feel like you need to focus on this, like creation, creating with your partner. I feel like if you could create things, that would be very powerful. You could be, working together in business. You could just be, cooking together. I don't know, creating anything basically. And I feel like if you could look at it that way, it would be, just be like a mindset shift is what I'm getting here. So I definitely like that. In your last row here for advice from your guides, you have the flexibility card. Obviously, I feel like, it would be a good time to be very flexible at this time. I talk about this quite a bit, Libra, because of Neptune and Pisces. Basically, on a very down and dirty astrology type, Chris's crappy astrology level, to me, Neptune and Pisces is basically, basically showing us that there are multiple ways of doing things, in some way. It's kind of hard to describe, but, to me, it's like the death of traditional belief. But we all have different traditional beliefs with Neptune and Pisces, but it could be any belief. Like maybe you have a belief in your business that you have to get clients a certain way. Neptune and Pisces is like, no, actually, there's a million ways to get clients, and I'm going to force you to figure all those ways out. So, it could be that. Same thing in love. It's like, you could think that everybody's a cheater, and Neptune and Pisces is like, no, there are millions of people who don't cheat, and I'm going to force you to, and I'm going to show you every single way. So, for a lot of people, I feel like if we could just embrace the flexibility, we'll probably be more successful a lot faster. If we just realize there are other ways of doing things. You have the Five of Swords, the Lovers, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles here. It's kind of funny because I feel like for some of you, it's like, it's almost like a caged animal, like a caged lion is what I feel here on this Four of Pentacles is what I would say to you. I feel like this is in reference to partners for whatever reason. I feel like you're looking for someone who is out of the cage, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just deliver the messages I get. That's what popped into my head immediately. It's a weird message, I'm not going to lie, but I feel like you want someone who's like more, raw and more, who just goes for things, not someone who holds back, if that makes sense. That's like the first thing that popped into my head, which is a weird one, but I feel like even some of you could be dealing with a person where it's like you see their potential, but it's like they're not quite like really going for it yet. They're kind of like holding back. I don't think we should ever date people for potential. But again, the reason I'm saying this to you is because I don't think you're doing it. It's like you're not coming from a toxic place. I think it's toxic to get into a relationship with a person and be like, this person has XYZ potential, and if they don't reach it, I'm going to leave, right? I feel like you're with this person no matter what, if this message is for you. But I feel like you just see, what's inside of them, and I feel like you want to bring it out. It's a much more positive feeling that I get there, if that makes sense. If you don't have this person yet, I feel like this could be the type of person that you get in your life here. I would just say support them. I feel like that's literally all they need. And again, it doesn't matter, what gender you're attracted to or anything. I feel like it could be any type of person. It's a weird feeling I get, like I said, but I feel like you see that they have something inside of them that needs to come out. Could be in work or business. Doesn't have to be. It could be like a creative project. Maybe it's just like how they express themselves or something like that. But I get this closed-in feeling. So that's like the first thing that pops into my head. As far as messages from your guides are concerned, I feel like your guides kind of like want you to surrender to the creative process is really what I'm getting here, especially with this Five of Swords. The word surrender is just jumping out at me here on this card, and so I feel like your guides are kind of like saying, we want you to surrender to the creative process and be more flexible with the flexibility card. And what I mean by that is I feel like your guides, they want you to like pick like a point to work towards, especially in work or business or your health, and I feel like they want you to kind of like experiment along the way, instead of going like this, instead of coming back to the beginning or quitting. I feel like your guides want you to, like, I get this more, like, push it type of feeling. Again, some of you could be the caged lion here that I feel on the Four of Pentacles. I feel like your guides are like, no, don't, go towards something and come back. Go towards something, try something else, zigzag around here before you get to the goal. And that's kind of like how I'm seeing this in my head with this row. But a very good row. I feel like for some of you, you could be on the path to marriage. So, if you're with a person already, this could be someone you commit to for a very long period of time. I feel like recently, I'm pretty sure it's you that I've been saying this to, and if it is, then I would definitely say it's true. Especially with this middle row, this just looks like the path to marriage to me. For some of you, it could be a fire sign that you are going to be getting together with. We're going to clarify now. We're using the 7th sphere Lenormand here, Libra. So let's see what we get for you. Between the World and Ace of Cups, you have the Ten of Hearts. This is called the Dog. It is a card of loyalty. Amazing. If you are with a person, or if you're going to be meeting a new person, it would be someone who is loyal to you, someone who wants to, commit to you, all those other good things. So really good card. Between the the Knight of Wands and the Chariot, I'm laughing because you have the Queen of Diamonds, which is called the Crossroads. I said Crossroads on the Lovers. You clearly have a choice to make, and it seems like everybody in these end-of-the-year readings has some sort of choice to make. I would just pick the new path, plain and simple. It looks like a little bit more impossible. I always tell people, like, think the opposite of, like, whatever is going on in the collective, especially, like, with what's going on in the world right now. Because it's like, the way to look at the energies is like things always go to one extreme and then to the other, right? So it's like everybody, there's a lot going on in the world right now. I understand that, but it's going to swing the other direction. So prepare for that. Prepare for, new opportunities in work or business, or the world becoming more open in the future. It's like, prepare. Between the King of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, you have the Key. This is the Eight of Diamonds. This is a card of material success on the horizon. It is a card of, like, small details, but it is a card of, kind of success and opening doors. So I feel for a lot of you, again, remember what I was saying about this kind of, like, I get this, like, feeling where, it's hard to describe. I just feel like you see an opportunity and it feels right, but I feel like if you try to think about it more logically, it's not going to make sense, but it's not like a logical thing. A very weird message, because I feel like this could be like a business opportunity, a work opportunity, where it's like, it feels good, but I feel like if you start, like, trying to say, oh, I need to have money to do this, I need to have this, X, Y, and Z, I feel like this is a reading that's saying, no, you just need to get started on the opportunity, that everything will fall into place. Between the Ace of Cups and the Five of Swords, you have the King of Spades here. This is called the Lily. I feel very similar to the King of Swords here. I do feel for some of you, I would be careful of anyone trying to come back from the past. Number one, intuitively, I kind of feel that here. So I would just be careful of that energy for sure. I would also just, be careful of anyone coming back with any truths, especially with this exposed and revealed card. Between the Chariot, the Lovers, and the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Birds right here. I was literally going to say, with the Eight of Pentacles, or the Eight of Diamonds, the Key, that it's a card of small details. And I was literally going to say, don't worry about it, because a Seven of Diamonds isn't in this reading. Here it is. So, sorry, Libra, but the Birds can be a card of small details as well, and it's a card of really communication, but really your intuition. I would pay attention to your intuition at this time, and that's what I would do there. It's a really good card for love, but it can kind of represent like a married old couple, like fighting. Even some decks, they can, in some of the books for some of these decks, they refer to it as like the married old couple or something like that. So I just try to avoid arguments. Between the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Spades. This is called the Letter. So there's definitely communication coming in for you here. And I do feel this could be like a little bit overwhelming, because, again, it's like you're trying to get things into place. Part of me is feeling like that some of you could be feeling overwhelmed just because you haven't done something before. So it's like once you do it, you're going to realize how easy it is. Those are the words that are popping into my head. This could be anything. It's like, but I feel like you're going through a process. Like maybe you're buying a house. It could be a little overwhelming the first time you do it, but it's like once you do it, then it's like, oh, that was easy. For others, I feel like there's, I would be careful of future thinking. But I feel like you're stepping into like new territory here. The other thing is like for some of you, I feel looking at this reading that you could be increasing your finances, like making more money. And sometimes I think when we make more money, we still live as if we don't make a lot of money, right? So if like I feel like for some of you, if you're increasing your income here, Ace of Pentacles, maybe you're starting a business or whatever. It's like I feel like you could be still living as if you don't have money, and I feel like you need to change that so that you don't go backwards, right? It's like if we do that, if we don't change our energy, we're just going to go back. So, that's kind of like what I'm getting here. You have the Rider. The Rider is a knight in shining armor. So if you're looking for love, this could be a knight in shining armor that's coming in for you with the Rider. And but for others, it could just be, this is like good news coming in for you right here. Next, you have the Child. Again, I said fertility. Pretty much everybody, I'm pretty sure, has had the Child in these readings, and it is a card of curiosity, trying new things, doing things differently. So I just open up to new ways of doing things with the Child. And bottom row, you have the Anchor. I would be very careful of being stuck in this Four of Pentacles space. It's like sometimes I think we can think that we don't want someone in our space or in our lives, but then we get older and then we're like, oh my God, I wish I had someone. And then it's like too late. So I feel like this is saying, don't stay stuck in the Four of Pentacles here. I don't really like that four. I like it and I don't in your reading. Because again, I feel for some of you, it's like potential, like I was saying, where someone needs to break free from a cage. For a lot of you, I feel like it's about staying stuck in kind of like your comfort zone, as far as inviting people into your life is concerned. This could be in love, but it could also be other areas of your life as well, like friendships and things like that. I feel like pushing yourself to allow people into your life would be a good idea. Of course, you have to have boundaries and all those other things. But at the same time, what I would say here is I feel like people could be very like enriching to your life at this time. But this is a really good reading, Libra. I like where it's going. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, Libra, and definitely enjoy your month.